All right. Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Reigning Woman, coming to you today with another stream and episode of Boom Conversations. So we're just waiting right now for our guest to arrive, which is Lynell, aka Food with Money. And in the meantime, let me go ahead and tell you all what the Womb Conversations is. So let's talk about the womb first and why this is the Womb Conversations. The womb is the strongest, most flexible muscle of the female body and is connected to the universe. It is dynamic beyond its common acknowledgement and it is multi-purposeful. It is one, orgasmic. It is healing. It can grow a placenta and of course we know it can grow a human. So what is womb conversations? Womb conversations are interviews with men, particularly the black men, hosted by your girl, Reigning Womban. That's right, me. These nurturing and empowering interviews are intended to have the interviewee, which is tonight, Lynell, experience full freedom of expression and for a healthy exchange of masculine and feminine energy. It is a respectful place, a peaceful place, and yet one of power. So let's see if we have our guest with us. And we do. He is right on time. So let me go ahead and add. Good afternoon, Lynell.
Good afternoon. How you doing today, Reigning Woman?
I am blessed and I'm grateful. How are you?
I am well.
Good. It is such a pleasure to have you here this evening. I know we have been working on this for quite some time, so it's a pleasure and thank you for being here.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's get into it, Lionel. First of all, everyone, Lionel is a member, one of the founding and prominent members of the Black Brain Trust. And if you've been around here for a while, you all know that I am a all-on supporter of the Black Brain Trust here on YouTube and beyond. And I highly promote and support them. So, Lionel, what role do you play in the Black Brain Trust?
Well, for me, I look up. I'm very interested in cryptocurrency. Am I coming in staticky? I don't know.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Let me see something. Let me try to rejoin, and maybe that'll fix itself.
Okay. Good evening, Topaz. And good evening, LaShawn and CCA News 2019. And Shalom, my brother Monster Moshe. Welcome. The music in the background is none other than one of my faves, Dr. Sax Love. So while we wait for Lionel to get his gadget together and return, let's continue to enjoy some of the sounds of Dr. Sax. Oh my goodness, y'all. I almost forgot I had something on the pot. Wait a minute.
I'm here.
Lionel.
I'm here.
You're back. Okay. So how did you get or what is your role with the Black Brain Trust?
Well, for me, I am interested in cryptocurrencies, and I that's one of the main things I do every day is look at the news, see what's going on, and I contribute that as the major part of the Black Brain Trust. I do the what is it the on Thursdays at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
I do the blockchain and cryptocurrencies news. Do that. That lasts for about an hour. And one of my interests I like is space. So mainly cryptocurrencies.
And how long have you been involved with the cryptocurrencies?
Since September 2017.
September. And how did you get interested in cryptocurrency?
Well, before I got into cryptocurrencies, I don't know if okay, I want I don't know if it's coming in still bad or am I still clear? Tried to fix the mic.
Okay, yeah, you sound a little distant and you're breaking up just a little bit. So while you work with that, honestly, I'm going to go get something off the stove. I almost forgot I had a pot on the stove. I can break that.
Okay,
I can't burn the house down.
I'm going to re come in. Let me try to maybe unhook and plug back up.
Did y'all think I was gonna? Oh, okay. Thank you, Raw Honesty. I appreciate that. Yes, please don't burn the house down. No, honey. No, baby. No, no, no. I shall be right back. Thank you, Raw Honesty. Hi, Rob. Rob. Yes, I will not be able to explain burning the house down. No, but I've got that taken care of, and now we're just waiting for the guest. I don't know what's going on between his technology and me burning the house down, but one thing is for sure, we will get it together and we will have a blast. So you all sit back, enjoy the music, Dr. Sax Love.
Hello.
I see that you're back.
All right, I unplugged and restarted the microphone. I don't know if that's
You sound better.
okay. Now, before I got into cryptocurrencies, and what made me want to get into cryptocurrencies is before I got into cryptocurrencies, I was a dividend investor. investing into dividend paying stocks. I like the idea of receiving a monthly dividend. Stocks like AT&T, Coca-Cola, ABBV, Microsoft, things like that. So when I was actually on one of BGS's 8-hour hangouts, and me and young Grizzly, he he's in IT. He's a contributing member of the Black Brain Trust also, and I he was saying that he was in investing into it, and he gave me a few sites to go to, which was Coin Market Cap, Coinbase, and I got into it. And when I did a little preliminary research, it was saying, digital at this time, um, back in early August, July, August 2017, saying, digital currency and so forth. And I said to myself, no, this is a natural progression of money. So as everything else is going digital, money's going digital. And I looked at some of the coins because one of the sites he gave me was Coin Market Cap, and one of the coins was XRP. At the time, Bitcoin was a couple $1,000, Ethereum was $100 something, Litecoin was like 50 or $77, and XRP was a excuse me, a coin. And so I looked at XRP because it was about 20 cents. I'm like, wow, this thing is 20 cents amongst all of these other coins. And I looked into it and I saw what they were doing. And I just said, this is perfect because I've sent money across borders to Nigeria, and it costed me at times that money. And I said to myself, yes, I want to invest in this. I was dating this girl at the time. She'll go back and forth from here to Nigeria because she was from Port Harcourt. And I would send her a few dollars, but the few dollars I was sending costed a lot to send. I'm not dating her anymore. She stays somewhere in the East Coast. But I said to myself, you know what? This is obvious. Money should go. Well, money, everything else is going. Excuse me. Like I said, everything else is going digital. So money is obvious progression. So I started getting into it. Starting to get into it heavy. Um, and I just stuck with it because when I first got into it, when I first made my Coinbase account, I remember the next day going on Coin Telegraph, and there was a report saying Coinbase signed up 100,000 people for 100,000 new accounts overnight. And I said, "Wow, I was a part of those 100,000 people." And I got into it, and I just been in it from then. Even with I was in it along with the steep run up to 20K, Bitcoin going 20K, and the market cap, the whole crypto market cap was about 850. I'm gonna say 850 billion dollars. And when it crashed, I stayed in. I didn't leave. And yeah, that was my introductory to cryptocurrencies.
Whoa. Well, okay. You said before that you were into dividends, investing dividends, right?
Correct.
So explain to those who don't know exactly what is investing in dividends. What does that mean?
Well, I had made an account on E-Trade years ago, like last decade
Or
before.
what is E-Trade?
Huh?
And what is E-Trade?
E-Trade is a uh, full brokerage account where it's like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade. It's one of those E-Trade. When you think of Robinhood, think of E-Trade, but it obviously offers more ways to invest, different vehicles to invest in, more ETFs, more stocks, more this and more that. So
Oh,
I had,
so a place for people to invest in.
correct.
Okay.
So I had opened up an E-Trade account before the last market crash. I never used it. Uh, and it took me a couple years to actually put money into it. But when I found out about dividends, because I was hazy on, well, why do people invest in stocks? Well, I don't understand. What's the point? You know, if you were putting money into AT&T or Coca-Cola, and these stocks go up $1 or $2, I don't understand. Then as I look into it more, it's a it's an asset that does appreciate over time, and depending on when you first got in, you hold it over a prolonged, protracted period of time. You know, it's a way that you don't spend money. Well, spend the money that you have. And then when I found out about dividends, this was maybe 2012. I said, "What? So companies pay you just to have that stock?" And I just lost it. I said, "What?" And I just went head in, just dove in head first, and I said, "Well, if they pay me just to hold a stock, a share of such and such company, how come nobody else is doing this? How come everybody's not doing this?" And I went on sites, favorite site, dividend.com, favorite site. It tells you X dividend date. It tells you when it's going dividend, what stocks pays on certain months. Because normally a stock would pay 4 times a year, every quarter. You have some stocks, mainly REITs, that pay every month. REITs is real estate investment trust. They'll pay every month. Some stocks will pay twice a year. I think Disney pays twice a year, if I'm not mistaken. But I started when I got in. I invested into. As a matter of fact, I still got a list of the stocks I invested in. In the beginning, I had liquidated them as so far, but I still know what I invested in. And I had, where's it at? Right here. I had invested into Urban One. I had 140 shares of that. Cumulus Media, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Cisco Systems. They pay a dividend. I had invested in the gold IAU. I forgot what that stands for. AT&T, General Motors, Sally Mae, ABBV, BP pays a dividend. Coca-Cola, Ford. So I invested into a lot of stocks. Bank of America, AMC Theaters. I invested into Snapchat when they hit their ICO back in 2017. I invested into them. Not ICO. I'm thinking of crypto. IPO. IPO back in 2017. So I was just enamored with the fact that you will get paid a dividend just by holding the stock. And I used to go on YouTube just to look up videos of people who were doing this. But at that time, it wasn't a lot of videos about that. Now you can go on YouTube and look at a few people that are doing videos about this. One guy I look at his name is Joseph Carlson. He does his on M1 Finance, which is like a mobile. Can you call it a mobile? No. I think it's not mobile, but it's more friendly. The user face is friendly. But I was just enamored with you can get paid just by holding a stock. And I will go on E-Trade, and they had this interface. Well, they still have it of you if you what the stocks you invested in, it will show you how much money you get paid per month. And I was like, okay, this month I'm gonna get paid $30. Next month, if I could put, I'm put some more months, so much money in these months, then I'm gonna get paid. Uh, okay, so how am I trying to say? So if a stock pays you, if a stock pays you quarterly, right? So if you're going to get paid quarterly, that means in January you're going to get paid that stock is going to pay you. As a matter of fact, I can tell you much better here. So say like you buy AT&T. AT&T is going to pay you in February, in the month of February, June, September, and December. That's when you're going to receive your check for AT&T. If you invest in Coca-Cola, you're going to get your check. Coca-Cola pays in, and this is when they really pays in January, April, July, October. So now you got January and February covered. So now you got to figure out how to get paid in March, June, September. No. I apologize. Yeah, March, June, September, December. I misspoke on one of them. So you'll go on, I'll go on dividend.com and say, well, what stocks pay in March, June, September, December? And you'll look up the numbers such as the you can look up the PE ratio, how much money they are giving away for their dividend investors by percentage of I forgot what they call it. The amount of money they're taking in. So if they're paying dividend investors like 90% of the money they're getting every year, that's not sustainable. So you're looking for something like 30, well below 50% at least. So then you will look at, what is it, aristocrat stock, meaning they've raised their dividend for the past at least 20 years, I want to say. That's aristocrat dividend. And you will, well, how much is their yield? Their yield is 3% of their stock. So you'll say, well, I'm going to invest in these. It's called a dividend ladder, actually. That's what that's called. So you'll pick out what stocks you want to invest in um, every month. So basically you got to figure out what stock you're investing in January, February, and March. That's it, because those stocks are going to pay you the rest of the year every quarter. And I did that. Yep, dividends.com, and I did that, and I did that for a couple, and then how I got into the like YouTube, because I was always on YouTube. Um, I'm not a Facebook person. I said to myself, because I was separated at this time, and I said to myself, man, I'm not a man. I don't even know how to be a man. What do men do? And I said, well, men wear cologne. I used to go to the Macy's and the stores and buy cologne. And I went on YouTube, because I was always on YouTube looking at videos, and I looked up YouTube videos on cologne. I ran into Jeremy Fragrance. I ran into Redolescence, and then I also ran into Kevin Samuels. And I used to listen to Kevin Samuels. I had a couple. I think this is when he was first on YouTube a couple of years ago. Um, End of 2016, beginning of 2017, around that time. And I had a couple, consultations with him, and he used to. I remember him used to say, he used to always say that somebody was had a 8-hour hangout, and I'm saying that's not real. Who on YouTube is having 8-hour hangouts? And the first time he said it, I didn't. I gave it no never mind. The second time he said it, I gave it no never mind. He kept saying it. I'm like, who is this guy? Talk about who is this BGS? Who is this O'Shea? And I'm saying to myself, who in the world is having on YouTube for 8 hours? This was when the Google Hangouts was in full of flex. Well, wasn't full of flex. It wasn't no Google Hangouts getting shut down. So I looked it up, and lo and behold, this guy named BGS Idmore was having an 8-hour hangout every Friday. I said, get out of here. This was early 2017. And I would go on there. It's a few times I've been on BGS Hangout and spent all night. And Sunday morning, I would just sleep to about 11, about 5 to 11, because I'm in Chicago. And then there was a lot of talk about crypto, because the beginning of 2017, the prices in Bitcoin and Ethereum wasn't that high, but then as 2017 progressed, the prices picked up, so more people was talking about it, more people were asking about it. So they started talking about it more on the channel. People started asking about it more, and then that's when I asked Mike Grizzly, because I was familiar with him because he would get on a lot of times, and I asked him and I emailed him, and he told me go to Coin Market Cap, go to Coinbase, and then like I said earlier, I made the account. Next day I went on Cointelegraph. They said over 100,000 people made new accounts. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm one of them. And then 2017 was the same year I got divorced. I finalized my divorce, which was, so it was, I was there. I was investing into stocks, but not heavily because of the divorce. That takes a lot out of you. So financially and emotionally, well, not emotionally, it just takes a lot of chunks out of you. So whatever um, money I had left over after I had to pay my lawyer and everything, I would push into stocks.
Wow. Now you just said a lot in that short period of time. It's like you covered a lot of ground.
Mhm.
So let's back up and thank you for being very detailed. Let's back up just a little bit to the part where you said you were dating someone in Nigeria
Mhm.
and you were flying her back and forth and sending her money.
Well, I wasn't flying her. When she was her name was Kimmy Sola, Kimmy for short. So she was from Port Harcourt, and
Okay.
she'll go back and forth. And we were dating for a short period of time, and I was sending money via Western Union, and it was times. I'm not saying I sent her thousands of dollars, but it was time whatever I sent her, it would cost 10, 15, $20, even $30 sometimes. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm not sending that much. This is ridiculous. And I remember one time my sister, she lived in the same city, she said, she called me, she was like, brother, I need some money. I said, how much you need? And I sent it through MoneyGram. And it cost me about $10. I'm like, I'm sending money within the same city. Why is it costing this much? And those experiences, if you're sending somebody money in the same city, and it costs you the fees, it's like ridiculous. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth because it's like, why are you charging me this much? And you know that that's a memory. It's like, okay, I just got to bite the bullet. So um, then I got into crypto. And I found about XRP, and what they want to do was decrease the amount to send money across borders quickly. And oh my God, it took forever to get there for one. And if you lose that MTN number with Western Union, because they won't believe you. They'll think you scamming them. And then I remember when I sent my money, not money, my sister money within the same city of Chicago. It took about an hour. I'm like, this is freaking ridiculous, man. But I just remembered that. It wasn't like, well, something has to be done. I want to fix it. I just remembered that. And when I found out about XRP, like I said, those memories came back. And I said, yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, I was hyped. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's one. Yeah, decrease those fees. Yeah. So yeah.
Now, it also seems that now you're a millennial, right?
Yep. I'm a millennial.
So you've been in this long distance relationship and you've also been married. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a child, correct?
Yes, I have a daughter from my marriage, and well, the long distance. It wasn't long distance. It was with the girl from Nigeria, Kimmy. She was here in America. It wasn't really long distance. Sometimes she would visit family. That's what I'm trying to say, but Yeah, I was married. I was in the military, and that's when I got married.
Ah, so you're also a veteran.
Yes.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I served in. I was on the served silent service, submarines, U.S. Navy submarine service.
Well, thank you for your service, my fellow serviceman.
Oh, you welcome. Thank you. You're welcome.
So, when you discovered BGS and Kevin Samuels, you said that you were on YouTube, you discovered them, and you didn't know much about being a man, correct?
Right, because at the time, my wife got well. At the time, she got pregnant, and I thought the right thing to do was to marry her, and it wasn't no male there to say no, no, that's not, no, no, you don't do that, and or what to do, or because I got married when I was 23. My daughter was born when I was 24.
Wow.
Uh, and it wasn't nobody to say, well, know this and know that, give me guidance. So I was just learning from what was on TV, music, the common agreed upon thought of what you should do as a man. So that can leave you out in a wind, out into whatever the wind or whatever thought may carry you. It
Mhm.
wasn't no foundation. It wasn't no firm foundation to stand on.
Okay. And with that, before you found Kevin Samuels and BGS on YouTube, did you feel like there was a void missing? Did you have a void as far as a male father figure, or was it something that was just missing and you knew it was something that was just missing, but it didn't even empty?
Yeah, yeah, but going through it, you don't particularly, you can't articulately say, well, this is what's missing, and I need this. It was something missing, and it was within this ballpark of knowing what's missing, and
Mm-hmm.
you get to clamoring, not clamoring, but grabbing at whatever that can fill that void. Not really fill a void, as in saying, "Oh, I got a hole in my heart," but something that can give you understanding and a firm ground to stand on, and say, "Well, these are my beliefs. Um, as a man, I do this and do that." That's what I'm saying.
Okay. And you've also taken some different, from what I would see from the outside looking in, it seems like you were taking some very unpopular or unknown steps as far as finances, as far as getting married at such a young age, being a father. I mean, that level of commitment. Well, in the military, you see that a lot in the military, actually.
Mm, mm,
But as far as that strong financial responsibility and those financial diversions, diversifying your income that you did, that's different in your age bracket and along in your in your race group, right?
mm. Right, right.
So how did you feel doing something that you know was unknown or unpopular and different? Did you feel like an oddball, or did you feel like an outcast, or did you just feel like, you know what, I'm just doing what I need to do, and it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing?
As far as investing.
Yes, as far as investing, doing the family thing, and going through all of that at the same time. Yes.
Well, as far as investing, when I had went away to school after high school for a year, and I knew
Mhm.
I wanted to be in business, but I had no idea that you had finance, you had accounting, you had all of these different areas within that business umbrella. I didn't know that. I just went to school and said to people, when people asked me, "Well, what are you studying?" I said business. I was just that's an example of going with wherever the wind blow. I didn't know accounting and finance was a part of business. I didn't know that. I just went to school for business, and that's a big reason why I flunked out. I actually left school. Well, I actually left home and from Chicago, and I went to school SIU, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. It's two SIUs, one at Carbondale, one at Edwardsville. The one I went to was near St. about a couple minutes from St. Louis, and I was just down there, just messing up, failing. For after the first semester, I got put on academic probation. I, they said that you were on academic probation. The next semester you have to come off. I didn't come off, and they suspended me for 1 year. I wanted to pledge. I wanted to do all this, but it was no guidance there. It was absolutely no guidance. And um, what else? I knew, but I knew I liked business though. That was one thing I knew. I wanted to go into business because I like the thought of businessman. I like that. So, but I flunked out. My GPA was horrible. It was like 0 point something. It was like trash. It was trash.
Wow, what?
Yes, it was trash. And thankfully it was at the I went to I graduated in 2000. I graduated high school in 2000. So I'm an older millennial. Um, and thankfully at that time, school tuition is not as it was not as astronomically high as it is today. And I end up on the school like $1,000, $2,000 some dollars maybe. But I paid that off a while ago because I had started to buckle down. So I can't get rid of some of these bills. So after that, yeah, but the reason the whole reason I made the E Trade account was because I knew I wanted to be in business. I knew that I liked the concept of business. So that was the whole idea of me making an E Trade account and wanting to invest because I like that concept. That was an innate concept of mine.
Now, okay, I'm probably going to end up doing a part two with you. Are you okay with that?
That's no problem.
Tell us a little bit about your background growing up, your family background growing up in Chicago, and your decision to join the military.
Okay, well, born and raised in Chicago. First part of my childhood, grew up in the Dearborns, from Chicago, South Side. If you're familiar with what they call the low end, I grew up in the Dearborns. It was like a mile. The projects in Chicago on low end started like on 22nd and State and extended all the way to 55th and State. Now these blocks are not short small blocks. These are long blocks, and that's like a good at least a mile long of projects. You had what's it? I think it was Henry Horner. You had the Ickies. You had the Dearborns. Then you had ITT, which was a college, internationally known college, right in the middle of these projects. Then you had Stateway. You had, I think, was it Robert Taylor? And these are like, I'm not talking about 3-story, buildings. These are like 20-story high-rise projects. And
What?
yeah,
20 stories?
yeah, these are high-rise projects, and thousands of people live in these buildings. Like the building I lived in had like 7 stories. These are high-rise brick, like red brick, cold looking buildings, and shootings. And so I went to Daniel Hill Williams, which the kids from Dearborns and the Ickies went. And man, yeah, you gotta do a part two of this because yeah, just growing up like that. Then in 5th grade, so I went there in 5th grade. I moved. My mother moved from the Dearborns, and we went to Inglewood. More people know about Inglewood. I lived on 63rd and Sangamon, right in the middle, right in smack middle of Inglewood. Sangamon is you have was it Peoria, then Green, then Halsted. So 63rd and Halsted back in the day was the spot. We were right in the middle of Inglewood, smack dab, and this was the time, also middle of the '90s, wearing the wrong colors. That was that time. I went to Kershaw, then Kershaw went to sixth grade, ended at sixth grade. Then I went to Anderson Community Academy on 63rd and Western, you could say, for seventh and eighth grade. Then I went to Julian on 103rd and Elizabeth. I went there all 4 years. And the summer between my sophomore and junior year, we moved from Inglewood out into the hundreds. So in Chicago, Chicago's extend the South Side of Chicago, that is, extends to like 130th. So it's a big area. But throughout my childhood, I just went to school with a lot of black people. It was elementary school 99% black, high school 99% black. It wasn't Chicago was like is a super segregated city. When I say that, it's not specifically white, different white, black with black. You have Italians live with Italians. You have Mexicans live with Mexicans. You go to some parts of the city where it's Mexican. They don't even speak English. You know, all the billboards in Spanish. So it's not like it's not like, oh, that's wrong. That's just how people are. Indians, they live with each other. You have hospitals that's funded by like different parts of people from Europe. It's that's how it is. I mean,
Wow.
it ain't like it's bad. It's
Right.
just that
How it is.
innately people prefer to live with each other, around each other. But yeah, my schools were like 100% black. I mean, you had that one person that was like Hispanic, Mexican. It was like, okay, it was that one person, but that person stuck out like a sore thumb. But it was just because it was just basically all black. So I grew up around that. I When I first went to the military, I wasn't used to living around white people because or non-black people, I would say, because I literally did not live around those people. I literally did not.
Wow.
So yeah, like my family from the South, well, my parents from Chicago, but my grandparents from the South,
Mhm.
Georgia, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. You know, it's funny because I recently did my DNA. Well, I did this years ago, and they updated, and I, I always notice that a few people that I tell, but I have a paternal lineage to Ramsey the third.
To who?
Ramses the third. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. On like they'll update your DNA. Whatever new findings that they have,
Uh-huh.
and they'll say you have a direct paternal lineage to Ramses the third. So I'm like, what? So like my mother, I tell my mother, you know, um, Pharaoh will smite you, just to play with her, But yeah, and then I'll say, yeah, I got to get a big picture in my room for great great, just to play with people.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I I knew interviewing you was going to be different with you being a millennial, and one of the younger persons over from the Black Brain Trust. But I had no idea
Oh
that it
yeah,
was like this. No, I really didn't. It's just, um, hmm.
yeah. And I just found out about the Pharaoh thing a couple of weeks ago because I did it on 23andMe. I did it years ago, like 2017, early 2017. So they upgraded and let you know, well, you got a third cousin here, a third cousin there, blah blah blah. Your genealogical makeup is this. I'm like in the 80s of black, 85% black, blah blah blah. And then they're like, oh, you have more of a connection with Nigeria. I think it said well, I think they were saying that Yoruba, but they could have been saying one of the people that live in Nigeria is Yoruba, but the Ghanaian, then how black people say, well, I have Indian in my family. That joint said 0% Indian, so I ain't got that. Still got that good hair, you know. So uh, then I went on it because I was curious. I'm like, I keep getting these emails in my email, and I keep deleting them. Let me go in here and see what's going on. And that's when it said it. I said, "What? That's crazy." And then I looked it up, of course. Uh, Found out about it. He was the last great pharaoh of ancient Egypt. So yeah, he was the last great one.
Hmm. And then there is Lynell.
Yep, got to pick up the mantle.
Well, we're going to pick back up. I know, right, Darrell? We're definitely going to pick up from this point when we do part two.
Okay.
So, everyone, this is now the intro to Lynell, the fool with money. And the only reason that we're going to go is because of the time. We're running into the time that was allotted for this interview. So, Womb Conversations, Food with Money, Part 2. We're going to have more time with Lynell from the Black Brain Trust and get to know more about his background and how he went from someone who was failing in college to who he is now, a leader on YouTube. He is rapidly becoming an influencer of his own in the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin world. So let's look forward to that, y'all. We're going to get that set up within the next week or so. Get that scheduled. And also in my chat with Ms. Dollar Will, and so we'll also be doing an interview with Dollar Will soon. But thank you, Lynell, very much for your time. Check out his channel, y'all, Food with Money. It will also be in the comment section. I did drop it in the chat room, but check him out. He's in the mornings, Monday through Friday, and even sometimes on the weekend, right,
Yep.
Lionel?
Yep. Monday through Friday is the early morning crypto show, and then on the weekend I'll just release few short videos.
All right. And as you all heard, he is definitely someone that you can get some good information from because he went from knowing nothing to being a pretty good developer in this world, in this financial world. So thank you, Lionel. Thank you, everyone, for joining in into Womb Conversations, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.